Killer Klowns from Outer Space is one of the most entertaining movies ever made, always worthy of a revisit from time to time for fans of horror comedies. Let's take a peek behind the facepaint with these killer facts about the Chiodo Brothers film. I'm going to show you cool facts about Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Before the start of the video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more content, subscribe. Let's get started. 1. Classic TV star SOUPY Sales was supposed to have a cameo. One of the most memorable deaths in Killer Klowns from Outer Space is the poor security guard pelted with acid-filled pies outside of the amusement park. Originally, the Chiodo Brothers wanted this part to be played by SOUPY Sales, a children's TV star from the 50s and 60s, particularly known for often taking pies to the face. The cameo was apparently not meant to be, as producers felt most viewers wouldn't recognize Sales, and they didn't want to spend the money on accommodating him. 2. The director's favorite part of the film was the shadow puppet scene. Another memorably delicious death in the film comes when a clown performs a shadow puppet show with his fingers for a group of people waiting at a bus stop. After showing a few impossibly detailed figures, the shadow then becomes a hungry dinosaur that eats the entire group whole. We tried to think of the stupidest, most impossible thing, and my brother Edward Chiodo came up with Washington. It was a really absurd thing to have happen, director Stephen Chiodo said in a 2018 interview with Sci-Fi, noting that the scene was his favorite to film out of the whole three-ring Screamfest. 3. The clown masks were repurposed for ERNEST Scared Stupid. After Killer Klowns from Outer Space was released, no sequels were immediately put into motion, and the surviving props from the film were only collecting dust. This led to 2 of the clown masks getting redesigned to portray trolls in the popular Jim Varney movie ERNEST Scared Stupid. While ERNEST Scared Stupid is obviously much more family-friendly than Killer Klowns, both are among the greatest horror comedy movies ever made. Who knew the 2 films shared such a strong connection? 4. Their weak spot was inspired by zombie movies. All seems hopeless with Killer Klowns from Outer Space, until our heroes inadvertently discover the clown's Achilles heel. All it takes to take one out is to destroy their round red noses. It's very amusing, and it makes perfect sense. But how did the Chiodos determine the method used to fight back against the clowns? It seemed so logical, Edward Chiodo said at Spooky Empire 2011. Stephen Chiodo added that it was just a matter of taking the familiar zombie trope and applying it to their clown creatures in their own film. How do you kill a zombie? Shoot the brains, kill the zombie. Same idea, Stephen purports. Fair enough. 5. A 30-year reunion took place in Hollywood in 2018. Killer Klowns from Outer Space celebrated its 30th anniversary in 2018, and the cast and crew of the film got back together to celebrate the occasion. Taking place on May 19, 2018 at the Montalban Theater in Los Angeles, the special event featured live orchestral music from original composer John Massari, with the Dickies performing a live rendition of the classic theme song. Special guests at the reunion included the Chiodo Brothers and stars Grant Kramer and Suzanne Snyder, along with special entertainers like magicians, contortionists, and balloon artists. Along with a Q&A, the film was even screened with the musicians performing the score live for the audience. 6. The original plan for Clownzilla was stop-motion animation. To save his girlfriend from the evil clowns, awesomely named lead character Mike Tobacco must team up with his girlfriend's ex, Deputy Dave Hansen, by taking the clowns head-on. Despite many deaths during the course of the movie, the film has a pretty happy ending, as Mike and Dave successfully save Debbie from the clown spaceship and manage to escape with all of their lives. If the original ending had remained intact, however, the closing moments of Killer Klowns from Outer Space would have been a bit more depressing. For the most part, the final sequence of events is the same, culminating in the explosion of the ship after Dave pops Clownzilla's nose. Initially, Dave perished in the explosion, but after screening this version of the film with test audiences, the choice was made to film a more upbeat ending to end the movie on a more positive note. In case you were wondering, the Terenzi brothers also survive in their ice cream truck in both versions of the story. 7. It's become a major part of Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. We've all watched Killer Klowns from Outer Space, but have you experienced the film in person? The wonderful people at Universal Studios have been giving fans the opportunity to do just that for the past couple of years. In 2018, the film was featured as a scare zone for the 28th annual Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando, featuring many props and references to the film, along with many clowns in the flesh, of course. Because the first go-round was a hit, Universal saw the Killer Klowns landing down once again for Killer Klowns themed haunted house attractions at both Universal Orlando and Universal Hollywood. Given what's been happening in 2020, it's not entirely clear as of now what will happen with the next Halloween Horror Nights event. But for those unable to attend in 2018 and 2019, let's hope the clowns make their way back to Universal at some point in the future again to help keep the film's legacy alive with horror fans. 8. A sequel has been in development hell for decades. We've touched on how Killer Klowns from Outer Space is one of the 10 best horror movies to never get a sequel. And that distinction hasn't been for a lack of trying on the part of the Chiodo Brothers. For over 3 decades now, the filmmaking siblings have been open to developing a follow-up movie. In 2012, it had been reported that a new film was in the works, which would have even featured original star Grant Kramer reprising his role. I think it was one of the Chiodos who came up with that idea that everybody thinks Mike Tobacco is crazy. He's kind of the town drunk derelict who's always mumbling about the clowns coming back, and everybody thinks I'm nuts because I'm sure they're going to return to attack the world again, Kramer said of the project in 2012, revealing a handful of plot details as well. Of course, when it happens, I've been planning for them to come back, so I end up being the mentor to these 2 young street performers whose car breaks down, and they end up in the small town of Kismet. 9. 3 brothers created the film. People may not be aware, but Killer Klowns from Outer Space was actually a family affair. Charles, Edward, and Stephen Chiodo were the 3 men who created the film, each contributing in a different way to the movie. The film was first conceived when Stephen tried to think of the scariest thing he could. He thought about driving at night and seeing a clown in a car passing him. Charles and Stephen wrote the film, while Edward was one of the producers. Stephen also directed the film. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this valuable content, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to see more of our future videos. With that said, keep enjoying our videos, and I'll see you in the next video.